Bishop, today is part 3 of your explosive series on the messaging, the imagery, the whole entire Luciferian themes surrounding Kobe Bryant. How are you, Bishop?
I am doing great today, Jason. Excited to complete this 3-part series concerning Kobe Bryant, the Luciferian project completed.
Absolutely. And I know that people are excited to see you. Yours has been one of the most popular new shows on Crowdsource, The Truth, Bishop. And now people can enjoy us not just on YouTube and Periscope and Facebook, not just on Patreon and Subscribestar, not just on NJ Life Radio, but we've now turned this show into its own podcast that people can enjoy on Spreaker, on iTunes. I think it just got approved for Google Podcasts as well. So the reach of your message, Bishop, is growing.
That is excellent news, my friend. And we thank God for your podcast. And it is reaching so many people around the world. And again, it's a great honor to be a part of the Crowdsource The Truth family here today.
And it's my honor to have you with us, Bishop. I also want to point out that people can support your global spiritual revolution by going to paypal.me/GSRR Media Group, and they can make a contribution of their choice. Bishop, you and I don't have major corporate sponsors. We don't have advertisers. In fact, most of the things we talk about probably irritate those people. So it's very important that our viewers who watch and enjoy the show become sponsors if they want this type of information to keep coming each week.
Absolutely. And it is by the support of our listeners that we continue this global transformational truth concerning Crowdsource The Truth and also Global Spiritual Revolution Radio. So we're providing the best content compared to the fake news today. So it's very critical for all of our listeners to support us so that we can continue to propagate the truth all over the world.
Right. And people can hear you on the radio. In addition to this show, they can go to liferadionj.com/Gaiters and help my memory a little bit, Bishop, if you could. What are the best ways for people to hear your radio show?
Absolutely. Go on liferadionj.com. Again, liferadionj.com. You can also read the show description at /Gaiters. That's liferadionj.com/Gaiters. And also on the iHeart Radio Network and the iHeart Media Group, including the USA Radio Networks, usaradio.com, usaradio.com. So those are the links that they can listen to the show.
Excellent. Thursdays from 7 to 9. So, Bishop, what have you got for us today as we close out this really amazing series you've put together?
I'm going to touch on later on during this last series concerning Kobe Bryant, a Luciferian project completed, concerning yesterday's memorial on 2/24/2020. Okay. And it's interesting about those numbers too, concerning Gigi Bryant, her jersey number on her basketball league team, and then the number 24 concerning Kobe Bryant, 24 letters of the Greek alphabet. And I find it so fascinating why Beyonce, who was not even close to the Kobe Bryant family, would just kick off the memorial yesterday, and then the WNBA player, Diana Taurasi, having her hands clutched behind her back, coming off the stage. That's a Luciferian symbol. And last but never least, Alicia Keys, gender flexing to the Kobe Bryant family. It was all a Illuminati Luciferian scripted memorial yesterday. And what all your listeners saw was the Hollywood Black Boule Secret Society. Anyone who is a who's who in Black America, specifically in Hollywood, is a part of that Black Boule Secret Society, and they were there. And they were part of the conspiracy, I believe, that took out Kobe Bryant. And not to mention, LeBron James was wearing a black hoodie. And I want your listeners to really look at that later on. So I'm going to touch on that later on. So again, just to reshape and reform what we started 2 weeks ago, I'm going to kind of go back from last week concerning part two, just in case some of your listeners were not privy concerning Kobe Bryant, a Luciferian project created. We know that Kobe Bryant was a part of not only the Theosophical Secret Society and the Thelema Secret Society, but he was also a part of the Boule Secret Society, as distinguished of the Knights of the Round Table. Now, concerning page 146 of the History of Sigma Pi Phi by Dr. Charles H. Wesley, he makes mention on page 146 concerning the Boule Secret Society, representing the foundational lower level of the Great Parliament even today, that they are subservient to the higher court of the Greek deep state concerning the Knights of the Round Table, in serving the 9 Luciferian families that control 99% of the world's wealth today. We're talking about the Rothschilds, whose real name is the Bauer family. We're talking about the Oppenheimers, the Warburgs, who created the U.S. Federal Reserve System back in 1913. We're talking about the Rockefellers, even the Rockefeller Foundation that I found out yesterday, Jason, in my research, that they all not only created the Boule Secret Society, but there is a female Black secret society called the Jack and Jill of America Foundation. In the Jack and Jill Foundation, that was subsidized with Rockefeller money. I'm going to talk about that later on. Also, John Jacob Astor, the Astor dynasty, a part of that Knights of the Round Table. The Bilderbergers, the Habsburg dynasty, the Sassoon dynasty. We talked about them, I believe, a month ago, that they were involved in the Chinese Opium Wars from 1839 to 1860. And even their generational great-great-great-grandson, Vidal Sassoon, the late Vidal Sassoon, the hairstylist, is a blood relation to the Sassoon dynasty. And of course, the ninth one at the Knights of the Round Table is the Li dynasty, capital L, capital I, out of China, and allowing the Sassoon dynasty to infect the Indo-Chinese people with opium. Again, going back to 1839 to 1860, during the 2 Opium Wars. So those are the Knights of the Round Table. But the Knights of the Round Table, Brother Jason, are protected by what we call the Divine Nine of the Pan-Hellenic Council, okay? Right. That represents the 9 Black Greek letter secret societies, okay? Not just Omega Psi Phi, but all of the 9 Black Greek letter secret societies are responsible for the overseeing and the protection of the system. Now, mind you, the term Pan in Greek mythology means a 2-horned Luciferian demon. I'm going to get that later on. And I don't know why so many Black people call themselves a Pan-Africanist, but they don't know, Jason, that the rootology, the origination of that term Pan, just like the story of Peter Pan, represents a 2-horned demon in Greek mythology. So we talked about Kobe Bryant, his connection to Jeff Steibel, okay? Jeff Steibel's connection to Jeffrey Epstein and Eric Klein of the Lifeboat Foundation, which also Jeff Steibel is a board member of the Lifeboat Foundation, okay? So then Jeffrey Steibel's connection to Eric Klein, to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, to our listeners, I'm not accusing Jeff Steibel or the late Jeffrey Epstein or Les Wexner concerning the death of Kobe Bryant. My assignment here today is to expose the hidden dark powers that surrounded the life of Kobe Bryant that might have contributed to his death. And we talked about Jeff Steibel and also Jeffrey Epstein's connection to the mind-brain and Behavior Advisory Committee at Harvard University, which is interconnected to the Brain Initiative, okay, through the CIA, through the Barack Obama administration in 2013. We also talked about Jeff Steibel, who is the CEO of BrainGate, that is interconnected to the Brain Initiative, a part of the Obama administration in 2013. Also, we talked about that Jeffrey Steibel and his BrainGate Foundation is partnered with Stanford University's CIA undergraduate program. Now, it's interesting as a side note, we talked about the word or the name Ralph Blasey II, okay, who is the father of Christine Blasey Ford. Ralph Blasey II, former CIA officer, ran 3 CIA companies: Redcoats Incorporated, Data Watch, and Admiral Security Systems, in the same building as Fusion GPS, and also in the same building of the law firm Baker and Hostetler, which Ralph Blasey II's son, Ralph Blasey III, is a former attorney who represented not only his law firm, Baker Hostetler, but they represented Fusion GPS, and Fusion GPS was one of the key players that tried to bring down a great president, President Donald J. Trump, concerning the fake dossier and Russia collusion and Ukrainian collusion. And
Bishop,
so then,
excuse me for 1 second. It seems that Blasey Ford's brother is Ralph Blasey III, worked at Baker Hostetler, and then her father, Ralph Blasey II. I wonder, do we have that totally straight, or are we maybe confusing those two guys?
No, Ralph Blasey II is the father of Christine Blasey Ford. Ralph Blasey III is the brother of Christine Blasey Ford, who is a former attorney for the Baker Hostetler firm. Now, he's no longer there, and I'm not castigating any stones at Ralph Blasey III. I want everyone to really know this, because Ralph Blasey III, the brother of Christine Blasey Ford, his father, Ralph Blasey II, a former CIA officer, all worked in that same building, Jason, in Washington, D.C., where Fusion GPS is, okay?
Yeah.
So,
and Bishop, I'm sure it won't surprise you to know that the British mainstream news outlet, The Guardian, thinks that we're right-wing conspiracy theorists for attacking Blasey Ford's testimony.
Yeah, and that's not the case at all. And I'm so glad, again, Jason, that's why you're a great host. You really touch great nerves in me to open doors to talk about things that I normally wouldn't even talk about. Excellent find there on your part, my friend. So then, absolutely, they think it's a right-wing conspiracy, but it's not. It's information. Just like mini Mike Bloomberg. I don't care if he's worth $62 billion. It's his past that must be examined. And this is the reason why the deep state wanted to destroy not just Brett Kavanaugh, but President Donald J. Trump. Now, it's interesting that the grandfather of Christine Blasey Ford, Nicholas Deak, capital D-E-A-K, is a former CIA officer who was a currency trader, okay, for the Central Intelligence Agency. So part of the deep state, Jeffrey Steibel, right, Stanford University, we may mention the Pepperdine University, okay, Ralph Blasey II, Ralph Blasey III, Christine Blasey Ford, Nicholas Deak, Baker Hostetler, Fusion GPS, and all connected to Jeffrey Steibel. Now, the question is, who introduced Kobe Bryant to Jeffrey Steibel? We don't know, but I'm going to find out, Jason, by the help of God, because the death of Kobe Bryant was not accidental. It was not by random. It was a satanic sacrifice, because Kobe Bryant knew something, maybe from Jeff Steibel, maybe about Jeffrey Epstein's connection to Jeff Steibel, maybe about Hill and Billy Clinton, because Kobe Bryant spoke at a 2014 conference that was hosted by the Clinton Foundation in the Clinton Global Initiative through the Aspen Institute. What did Kobe know? And when did he know it? And this is a part of the reason why he was a Luciferian project creative. Now, the Brain Gate connected to DARPA, and we talked about the Defense Research Projects Agency, which is a part of the Department of Defense, and IARPA, right? Capital IARPA. Of course, that is the Intelligence Advanced Research Projects Activity, 2006. They are practitioners of what we call predictive programming. We talked about Kobe's commercials with Kanye West. So then, as we move forward here, now getting to not just the Aspen Institute, which is really a CI think tank that's connected to the Clinton Foundation. Now, remember in the 2014, there was the third annual Health Matters Conference that Kobe Bryant was a part of, along with Bill Clinton. And now anyone can see that on YouTube. So then Kobe Bryant begins to attach himself, Jason, around some very powerful people, which I believe from my deep research as a historian.
Sorry, Bishop.
That's okay.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Deep research, and I'm glad that you brought up that video, that Kobe Bryant got himself into something which I believe Kobe was in way over his head. Now, in 2006, he gives $6 million to Body Armor. We talked about that $200 million kickback that he had, might have been insider trading. And so he moves on to into what we call a venture capital life, which he doesn't know about. So because of Jeffrey Stiebel, he gives $30 million along with some other investors into Ring DNA, okay? Palisades Growth Capital, which Jeffrey Stiebel and Jeffrey Epstein and Les Wexner were a part of, including the late Marvin Minsky, okay, including Lawrence Summers, a former Department of Treasury person under the Obama administration. So all of these connections, especially with Jeffrey Epstein's foundation, along with the Mind, Brain, and Behavior Advisor Committee at Harvard University. So then Kobe Bryant raises $5 million. We talked about that last week, back in 2019, for a Baby to Baby Foundation. Now, and to all of our listeners, I'm not castigating Baby to Baby, but I don't believe that you're going to raise millions of dollars just to buy diapers from the underprivileged. My personal research, Jason, as a historian, I believe Baby to Baby, with Nora Weinstein as the co-president, and I don't know if she's related to Harvey Weinstein, was a front for the pedophilia deep state, okay? So then we talked about in 2016, Kobe Bryant starts a $100 million startup capital securities firm, a venture capitalist, but he's in way over his head, Jason. And so we talked about, again, Lifeboat Foundation. And anyone can type online Jeffrey Epstein, Hope to Seed Human Race with DNA by Derek Lee. And so the Lifeboat Foundation, their goal is through sexual transhumanism to save the seed of the elite for the next generation. We're talking about DNA splicing and DNA manipulation. And so Kobe gets caught up into the dark arts that is surrounding him, because all of this goes back to 2003 when Kobe was compromised. Now, remember the attorney that was given to Kobe, Pamela Mackey, she's Phi Beta Kappa. But you know what? I also found out yesterday, Jason, you probably already know this, that Pamela Mackey was retained by Harvey Weinstein.
I did not know that.
Yes, Pamela Mackey was retained by Harvey Weinstein. And any one of your listeners can just type up Pamela Mackey, comma or / Harvey Weinstein. She's the same lawyer that represented Kobe Bryant back in the 2003 rape allegations. So then, the advisory boards of Life Foundation, okay, that Jeffrey Steibel and the late Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton is a part of. We talked about Jeffrey Epstein's connection with Les Wexner, Lawrence Summers, Marvin Minsky, and Lawrence Krauss. So then, Kobe Bryant is connected to Jeffrey Steibel. And later on, I'm going to give you a link, Jason, where Jeff Steibel says on his website, Brian Steibel, stories, he talks about he breaks his foot at the Standard Hotel. Let me say this, breaks his foot at the Standard Hotel. The same hotel we're talking about the Epsteins, Jeffrey Epstein, okay, including his brother Mark Epstein, including the Clintons. Then when Kobe Bryant was separated from his wife in 2012, he stayed at the Standard. Wait a minute, I don't understand. Why is it that he has so much money and he can stay anywhere around the world? Why Standard? I'm going to come up to that later on.
Bishop, you know, there was a whole set of allegations about Adam Schiff and the Standard Hotel. It's kind of in West Hollywood, I've been to that Standard Hotel. They have a nice pool and a restaurant.
Yes, and the Standard Hotel is owned by the Marriott Group. The Marriott Group International owns what we call the W Hotels, okay? Now, you remember the 2011 case concerning a minister by the name of Dr. Zachary Timms, who was found at a W Hotel here in New York City in Times Square, where they found that he overdosed on heroin. Now, a lot of people in the African community thinks that that was a lie, that Zachary Timms also actually was a part of the Clinton Foundation, their initiative to reach Black churches, and that Zachary Timms knew something about the Clintons. And he was scheduled to speak on Fox News, but he ends up dead of a drug overdose. You see all of these connections going back to Jeffrey Steibel and to Kobe Bryant. Now, I'm not blaming anyone specifically, but my assignment, Jason, as a historian, is to connect these dots so that we can understand what Kobe was a part of.
You know, Bishop, I would just point out real quickly that in December of 2013, the same New York City chief medical examiner's office that determined Jeffrey Epstein died from suicide also determined that Zachary Timms died of acute intoxication from the combined effects of cocaine and heroin, which certainly if somebody injected him with that to kill him, it would serve the double duty of tarnishing his reputation in death.
You are 100% right, Jason, because Zachary Timms was a part of the Orlando, Florida chapter of the Boule Seeker Society. And he didn't want to protect the powers that were around him, specifically the Clintons. And I'm so glad that you brought up that link concerning him, his so-called drug overdose. And this is how the deep state does. They are so proficient and prolific that they can actually cover up a murder to make it look like it was a suicide.
He looks quite healthy, Bishop. He doesn't look like a cocaine or heroin user to me.
No, not at all. In his background, before he came into the church, he was a drug dealer, and now they know his past. And so I believe that under this case, he was taken out because just like Kobe Bryant, he knew too much concerning the Clinton Global Initiative. Like you say, he looks healthy in this picture, but they wanted to make it look like he committed suicide, okay? And so, and now the woman that took over his church was a woman by the name of Paula White. Okay. Now, Paula White, there was a big controversy between the members of Zachary Tim's church concerning Paula White. Now, again, Paula White is close to the president. I'm not castigating her, okay? I met Paula White one time. I spoke at a conference in Toronto, Canada, many years ago, the same conference that she spoke in, okay? Every time she goes to a black church, she has to act like she's black, and that's another topic for another day. So then Paula White just takes over the church, and then half of the church leaves with the wife of Zachary Timms. Another topic for another day.
She's
So
actually also white. So that's a very kind of in your face
and it's an
thing.
all-black church. That's interesting. Again, I'm not teaching a white and black teaching or dogma today.
But let's face it, that's weird right there, Bishop.
Yes, that's big time weird. Why her? Okay. And so then Zachary Timms was a very powerful political person in the state of Florida who was a black conservative, right?
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden he commits suicide. So then in 2014, Kobe Bryant connects to both the Absent Institute, which is a CIA think tank, the Clinton Foundation, and the Clinton Global Initiative, okay? And now later on in the broadcast, I am going to reveal to you a global terrorist by the name of Mohammed Fethullah Gulen. Fethullah, capital F-E-T-H.
Fethullah Gulen, yes, he's Turkish.
Yes. And
has a series of schools throughout the United States.
Yes. Excellent find, my friend. He's connected to the CIA and also to the Clinton Global Initiative. Okay.
He was now, Bishop, real quick, sorry to interrupt. Yeah. Let me just ask you about the Aspen Institute, because they are definitely big on Kobe Bryant. We've spoken very minimally about some contact that I had with a very wealthy Hollywood executive who was in the 3D world, and he was a member of the Aspen Institute. Now, I haven't seen this guy maybe 5 years or more since I left Hollywood, but it was interesting to me because we'll talk in the future perhaps about some of the strange things that happened surrounding my various meetings with this guy who was a proud member of the Aspen Institute and an incredibly wealthy guy. Again, as you'd say, another topic for another day, but I don't trust that Aspen Institute at all.
I don't either, Jason, because again, these think tanks are nothing more than creatures of the Central Intelligence Agency. And so to your listeners, when I mean creatures, they are creations of the CIA. And, Al-Qaeda is a creation of the CIA. The Taliban is a creation of the CIA. The Muslim Brotherhood are creations of the CIA. So then the CIA creates an enemy in order to justify them asking the Congress and the Senate for billions of dollars. It's an international game. And Kobe Bryant was in way over his head. And this is the reason why they don't care who you are, they would take you out, okay?
Madeleine Albright is on the board of trustees of the Aspen Institute.
Yes. You're talking about some of the most powerful people in this nation and around the world who are a part of the Aspen Institute. And this Mohammed Gulen, he's a contributor to not just to the Clinton Global Initiative, but to the Aspen Institute. He's a CIA asset who was establishing mosques and madrasas throughout Turkey, Central Asia, and even here in the United States of America. We're talking about Operation Gladio 1 and Operation Gladio 2. And so he was a practitioner also of stock manipulation, okay? And like I said this last week, that there are links concerning the New York Times, and we cannot substantiate this. So I don't want people to run with this. That just not like on 9/11, 2 days before Kobe's death, the stock of Brian Stiebel drastically went down. And then the day following Kobe's death, on the 27th of January, the stock quadrupled. Wow. In other words, someone made a killing predictive programming that they knew he was going to die, just like in 9/11, just like during the case of Michael Jackson. Okay. Remember Brandon Lee, okay, the son of Bruce Lee. All of these people were a threat to what I call the anatomy of the deep state. Brandon Lee is another topic for another day. So then, the victims that were identified in the Newport Beach helicopter crash, and we talked about that, right?
Yeah.
That some of the executives of the Standard Hotel, okay, I'm not going to get into their names, but Kobe Bryant's helicopter came from the state of Illinois. So just to bring your listeners up to speed, just in case some of them were not here last week, and then these executives were a part of the Standard Hotel, where Ed Buck, Adam Schiff, you talked about a couple of minutes ago, the Clintons, Jeffrey Epstein, Kobe Bryant doing his 2012 separation. Why would he go there? What did he know? Okay. So the helicopters, the Sikorsky helicopter, chartered through Island Express Holdings, owned by the Lockheed Martin Company, and George Soros has most of the shares, not all now, but most of the shares in Lockheed Martin. And the area where Kobe died, Calabasas, is the 33rd, is that number 33 congressional district in the state of California. So then the government records show that Kobe Bryant's helicopter was used to be owned by the state of Illinois, which I don't understand to this day why they will have to go outside of the state of California to buy a helicopter in the state of Illinois. Okay.
Well,
So it's
who knows when these previously owned aircraft become available and from who? I think he probably wanted that type of helicopter and probably looking for a price range, right?
Yeah. And who's the governor that was the former governor that was just released from prison?
Blagojevich.
Yes, he has to be careful as a side note because he says he's going to reveal what he knows about Obama. He's got to be careful because he will end up dead himself. Another topic for another day. So then Kobe's helicopter number N72EX. Now we talked about the helicopter N71EX was on the LinkedIn site, right? For IEX helicopters,
right.
N71EX, N72EX. So as we move forward here, so it's interesting that a man by the name of Jim Bagge, capital BAGGE, actually bought the helicopter. So we move forward here quickly here, just kind of relaying the foundation from last week that according to the National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB, and the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, they're saying that the case is closed, okay? So Kobe Bryant connected to the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton Global Initiative, okay? And Hillary Clinton
Sorry, Bishop, real quick. The guy's name is Jim Bagge, B-A-G-E?
Yeah, B-A-G-G-E. Yes, sir.
But even so, Jim Bagge, when you search for this guy, you're getting a lot of gym bags, like duffel bags you'd take to the gymnasium. But that's a pretty weird name, Jim Bagge.
Interesting. That I never, and maybe this person doesn't even exist.
Well, it could be a fake name. It seems like a stupid name to me.
Yes, excellent find, Jason, because that could be a fake name used as a part of this conspiracy. Excellent find. That's why, again, you're a great host. So, and we know that Hillary Clinton transferred billions of dollars from the Treasury into the Clinton Foundation. Why she's not in prison, we don't know. So Kobe Bryant is caught up in this cabal.
Sorry, real quick, Bishop. So we're looking here at a website that seems to have records from bidding on the helicopter, and we can see the bids placed. 515,000. This is August 2015. We see Jim Bagge 1, bid up bot 11. This looks like somebody rigging the bidding. Bid up bot is not something you want to see in an auction if you're auctioning. I say Gym Bag 1 is a fake. Do you remember in the movie Enron, The Smartest Guys in the Room, they spoke about how they were having such a difficult time cracking the Enron case. They found all these transactions with this customer with the name Yass, Yass, and they couldn't find this person. And then they realized that that was my ass, Yass. It was a fake person.
See, this is what the deep state does. They are practitioners of manipulation. Kobe did not have the spiritual insight to discern, as we say in the church, or to decipher darkness versus light. And what he thought was light was counterfeit light. Okay, so Kobe was used as a pawn in this global game to use him as the face of the deep state. And then Kobe found out something, whether it's on Steibel or Epstein or Wexner, okay, whether it's on the Clintons, he found out something on them, and then they took him out. There's a lot of people that think that through a Machiavellian conspiracy that Kobe Bryant is still alive. We may talk about that later on. So then the Bryant Steibel venture capitalist fund is worth has over $2 billion in assets. Again, the Bryant Steibel fund has over $2 billion in their portfolio. Where is that money going to? I guarantee you Jeff Steibel is going to try to keep it. Now, we pointed out to your listeners the address, okay, of 22761 Pacific Coast Highway, right, to Garden Level, Malibu, California. It doesn't show the Bryant Steibel sign there that you're seeing right now within Wall Street. We didn't see that logo sign. We don't see it on our side of that building at 22761 Pacific Coast Highway. But we do see Dun and Bradstreet Credibility Corporation sign outside of that highway. So that's interesting. So John Kapoor. Now, who's John Kapoor? John Kapoor.
Sorry, real quick, Bishop. The other thing that's interesting about that address is that it's situated on a street where you can see this little dangling street view man. I'm not allowed to drop him over here by the address. We can drop him out over here, but then we're looking through the woods at the house. We see no imagery of it whatsoever. This is not a place where you would expect a hedge fund to be operating. Looks like they've trimmed all the hedges.
See, exactly 22761 that we saw it last week before the screen froze. 22761 Pacific Coast Highway. Yeah,
I'm reluctant to do that because we've determined that Google Earth crashes this computer with the other things that are happening. I have a fix coming for that. It should be here next week, Bishop. We'll be all over Google Earth next week.
And that's, I'm looking forward to that, my friend, on next week. And yeah, and it's wise not to go to that specific address. So now, who is John Kapoor? Capital Kappoor. He's a billionaire that is in prison now, if he's not out already, for 66 months because of the opioid conspiracy in the Midwest, where he was putting in through his pharmaceutical companies opioid ingredients within weight loss pills. And so John Kapoor owns the INSAY Therapeutic Company, INSYS Therapeutics, which owns the Acorn, AKORN Incorporated, which owns the High-Tech Pharmaceutical Corporation here in Amityville, New York, which Kobe was suing. Not just the High-Tech Pharmaceuticals and Acorn and INSAY, but George Soros owns a lot of shares, not all, but a lot of shares in both INSAY, Acorn, and High-Tech. Now, Kobe, why would he go after Big Pharma? Not just because of his nickname moniker, the Black Mamba, which High-Tech already registered in back in 2002. Okay, they already registered and trademarked that name or that nickname. But Kobe was going to expose these three specific pharmaceutical companies in court the following week if he lived. Why? Because they were putting opioid substances in weight loss pills. Okay. So he was battling against big pharma for years. Okay. And so then Kobe is involved, not just in the dark arts, the Boule Secret Society. And mind you, these dark arts are interconnected to what we call the global corporate connections of Kobe Bryant to the deep state. Now, we talked of an excellent picture there, Jason. That is exactly what happened to Kobe. He was wrapped around by what I call a divinational spirit, a divinational system. Now, for you biblical students, in Acts 16:16, the word divination, if you break down the first four letters of the word divination, you get the term divi, from whence we get the term diva. Now, sisters, I'm not castigating you, but if you're calling yourself diva, that is a acronym of the term divination or python or pythoness. That was a female secret society going back to the days of the Apostle Paul. Another topic for another day.
Hey, Bishop, sorry, I want to show you something real quickly on this cartoon of Kobe Bryant. It's kind of like a anime Kobe Bryant. So he's wearing his Lakers uniform, but it doesn't say Lakers. Look at it. It says like...
Excellent.
Okay,
Wow.
something. And then look at this. It looks like a little Baphomet symbol.
Yeah, and I'm going to, oh my God, you hit another nerve with me. That term Baphomet, right? It means sabbatical goat. And all the time you hear that moniker in sports, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, GOAT. Well, we talked about goat riding some weeks ago as part of the initiation process for the Global Masonic Order. And so that is a great detail find there, Jason, that you found concerning Baphomet. And I'm going to reveal how Baphomet, the last five letters, is Homet, which means homosexuality or conflation of homosexuality. Because Baphomet, through the Catalonian language, is connected to the Knights Templar. So the Knights Templar, during the Inquisition of the Knights Templar in 1307, they were worshippers of Baphomet. And you notice, boy, you hit another nerve with me, Jason. Excellent picture there. There is at the top of the skull of Baphomet is a light, okay? It is a light there, which means illumination. Now, I'm going to say something there. Excellent picture, Jason. That is going to blow away the minds of your listeners. Now, there is a woman, keep your finger there, concerning Kobe Bryant, a Luciferian project completed, and keep that picture right there, Jason. There is a light on the top of the skull of Baphomet, okay? Also, the term cornucopia means a two-horn system. So the light on the skull of Baphomet, right, represents that same light on the Statue of Liberty. And allow me to explain that. There was a woman in the 1800s by the name of Emma Lazarus, whose father was a brutal slave owner out of South America, okay? I'm not teaching victimhood here. So Emma Lazarus, who wrote the Colossus, Emma Lazarus, okay, including Emma Goldman, when Emma Goldman was 16, marched in the streets of Harlem in 1875, tearing up the copies of the Constitution, Declaration of Independence, and the Bill of Rights. Sounds like Nancy Pelosi. So then a lot of people don't know that Emma Lazarus wanted to destroy the Constitution by cementing a manifesto called the New Colossus, okay? Emma Lazarus, okay, was a Mason. Emma Lazarus was a socialist and a communist, but yet she is the face of the Statue of Liberty, Jason. That's Emma Lazarus, okay?
Wow.
In the East Harbor, here in New York City. So Emma Lazarus, a high-ranking Mason and a communist, okay?
How
Uh,
did she get to be the face of the Statue of Liberty?
that's a great question. And as we keep our mental paperclip here, not just on Kobe Bryant, but also on Baphomet, she was not the original face of the Statue of Liberty given by the French. The original face was a woman of color,
Oh,
had a Bible in her right hand and a ball and chain in her left. It's hard to find that picture online. It was a woman of color. That was the original Statue of Liberty given by the French government to the government of the United States of America, but they replaced it with a communist and a socialist who, along with Emma Lazarus, wanted to overthrow the United States of America. You
whoa.
see that light there, right there. That represents the knowledge of enlightenment of Baphomet.
Whoa.
So then, there was a rumor last year that President Trump had plans, still has plans to remove the face, not the Statue of Liberty, but the.
No, 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 no. There's no way you could mess with the Statue of Liberty
I
and
know,
not have people go crazy.
and they would probably go crazy. And so Trump is a smart man. But to answer your question, the original face of the Statue of Liberty was not this Emma Lazarus.
Oh,
Okay. Oh,
Bishop, look at this. So here we have an updated photo of French abolitionist Edouard de la Boule or whatever. Wait a minute. Look at his name. La Boule.
Boule. Ah.
Okay, and to the right is the sculptor Frederick Auguste Bartholdi, and he's got his hand in the jacket.
Yes.
But that's the wrong hand, isn't it?
That's it. That's the Masonic. That's the hidden hand of the Masonic order.
Oh man.
And for you biblical students out there, remember in the book of the Exodus, where Moses puts his right hand inside of his mantle, right? And he brings it out. It is leprous, and he puts it back in. And it's, in other words, that's the hidden hand, the leprous system of the New World Order. Excellent pictures there. So that's Emma Lazarus, who was a communist and a socialist. So the new Colossus is a manifesto that is an extension of the manifesto from Karl Marx. So why would the United States government replace a woman, not just because she's black, replace a woman that represents spiritual and political freedom and replace it with a woman who was a communist and a socialist, Emma Lazarus? Another topic for another day. Excellent find. So then, Sigma Pi Phi, excellent find on that boule, and also the term boulevard as street, boule, then the word vard, V-A-R-D. So that term vard is a Hasidical Hebrew term, vard, which means to be contained, to be encaged, or where we get the term muse cage. Kobe Bryant.
Yes.
Boulevard. So then, all of these boule acronyms are encoded into education, into life. And again, not to beat the dead horse, I'm so glad that you brought up that boule acronym. Go right ahead, Jason.
No, I wasn't going to say anything, but while I have the floor, that cartoon or that puppet show or whatever with Kobe Bryant and that weird snake, he's talking about a muse cage.
He talks about, and for the listeners of Crowdsource, you can just go on YouTube and type in Kobe Bryant, muse cage, puppet, and this puppet, this stuffed mamba he's talking to, that you can invoke light muse cages and dark muse cages.
Right.
Light, that's illumination. Why is Kobe Bryant involved into witchcraft? That is because that he's compromised back in 2003. Great links there, Jason. So then, Sigma Pi Phi. Okay, Sigma is the 18th letter of the Greek alphabet. Pi is the 16th letter. And phi, capital PHI, great picture there, Jason. Phi is the 21st letter of the Hebrew, of the Greek alphabet. So sigma means to summon, pi means hypnotic solution, and phi means a plane. To conjure a spirit hypnotic solution on a plane, not just a dimensionality, but a plane. And so the gematria prime number for boule is 55. 18 plus 16 plus 21 equals what? 55. Also, the term boule in gematria is 55. Now, somebody say, well, how many gematrias are there on the planet, Bishop? Well, there's 6,500. There's anywhere from 6,500 languages to 7,111 languages. So you're talking about between 6,000 and 7,000 different sets of gematrias. Another topic for another day. There's over 14,000 dialects. That's another 14,000 sets of gematria. Come on, gematria students. And there's over 30,000 accents. There's another level of gematria. So sigma pi phi to conjure a hypnotic solution on a plane. Now, the boules were created on May 15th, 1904, which that year was a leap year, Jason, which means
is this year as well.
Excellent point. So May 15th, 1904 was the 136th day of the year. Now the gematria prime number for Baphomet is 136. Let me say this again. So then May the 15th, 1904, which was a leap year, was the 136th day in that year. And Baphomet, its prime gematria number is 136. So then the skulls and bones were created in 1832, and the boules were created in 1904. So Baphomet now, capital B-A-P, means Baph in Greek, capital B-A-P-H-E, which means sigil, capital S-I-G-I-L, which means luck. So that term, good luck or luck, is the nickname of Lucifer. This is the reason why people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Great picture there, Jason. So the skulls and bones, and I'm going to reveal to you what the number 322 means. That's a part of the insignia of the skulls and bones. Now, spiritually, even though the skulls and bones, genetically, as far as time, is older than the boules, but spiritually, Baphomet's first son is not the skulls and bones, but it's the boule. So the boule is responsible to protect the system of Baphomet. Now, there was a man by the name of Eliphas Levi, capital E-L-I-P-H-A-S, Levi, born in 1810, died in 1875, who was instructed by Mayor Amschel Rothschild in the Rothschild dynasty, along with Adam Weishaupt, to create the German Bavarian Illuminati magic order. So Eliphas Levi, including Adam Weishaupt, created the modern day global Luciferian system through the instructions by the Bavarian Rothschild dynasty. So
his name certainly sounds Jewish, and when I Google him, look at all this imagery related to the Star of David, and well, actually we've got the Rosicrucian cross with the Star of David with these other symbols.
And according to the book, the Codex Magic Book, capital C-O-D-E-X, by Dr. Tex Mars, I had him on my show many times. He even talks about, Jason, that the black handshake that black people give, that they do between each other, that is a Masonic boule handshake. We have no idea what we're doing.
But
And
isn't it
so,
just made up among friends and they, I mean,
yes,
don't know that?
they have no idea that it's rooted in the Illuminati boule system. Okay, so kids are doing, everyone is doing it. I did it because I had no idea that according to the Codex Magic book that the black handshake is also in representation to the hand of Black Death. Okay,
Huh.
people destroyed the lack of knowledge,
Now, wait a
and
minute.
so
Tex Mars, is this Jim Mars? Who is this? Who wrote this?
now, Tex Mars, I don't know if he's related to the late Jim Mars, but Tex Mars is a minister out of Austin, Texas, whom I've had on a couple of times on the show in the past.
Got it.
So, because of health reasons, he can't do it anymore. So, he is a exposer, right, of the global Luciferian system. He talks about not only these black handshakes, but he talks about Baphomet, okay? That the term Homet, Homet, means the conflation of homosexuality or the emasculation of manhood. So Baphomet is part man, part woman, part goat. That's the transgender agenda of the Luciferian system. Now, the Knights Templar, their deity was the Baphomet. So those that are around the Baphomet, that's the Boule Secret Society. Not just those of African-centric background, but all colors who are tasked of protecting the system. So the Knights Templar, they were worshippers of Baphomet. And you notice some Baphomet pictures, Baphomet has his right hand up
Oh,
and
yeah.
giving a three-pointed 666 sign. Now, all of your listeners, if you get a chance, look up the Third Reich. Adolf Hitler in the SS would often put up on their right hand that three-pointed 666 sign. Now, many times, there you go, Jason, excellent. So many times people would say that represents the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. From the Vatican, no, it represents a high Luciferian hand symbol of 666, okay, that many times you will see on the pictures of Catholic saints, because the Vatican, which means Vaticanus or anal, is connected not only to Luciferian doctrine, but the doctrine of the Nazi order of socialism, okay, which is all rooted in witchcraft. Excellent picture there, Jason.
Can we talk about
So,
this Baphomet for a second, Bishop?
yes,
Because what is it says solve on one arm, and then also the same kind of two fingers up, two fingers down, thumb out, pointing down, and it says coagula or something like that. Then he's got this staff sticking up that almost looks like a medical symbol, but also looks like two serpents giving him oral sex.
yes, and it's coming from his, excuse the expression, genitals or sexual area. Then we talk about the coronavirus, and right now it's throughout the internet, and I had to check this, that if you connect the word capital COVID, right, which is the acronym that the Center of Disease Control gave for the coronavirus, capital COVID, and interpreted in Hebrew and interpreted from Hebrew to English, it reveals the word Kobe, capital Kobe. But in this picture, you see the pentagram, the hexagram, and the hexagon on its forehead, okay? Now, that hexagram or hexagon is a six-pointed system with the two horns, cornucopia, the two-horn kingdom of Lucifer. And later on, we're going to show that the second Boule Secret Society logo, not just of part man, part woman, part lion, but also part black man from the waist up and part beast from the waist down that has a cornucopia or a tune horn system on its head. Now, somewhere on Google Images, I tried to find it last night, I couldn't find it, that Kobe Bryant has two sneakers on the top of his head as if it is a cornucopia or a tune horn system. At the top, not only it represents enlightenment, but it represents a male and a female genital. This is a trans gender system where it's part male, part female, which we also get the term singularity. This is what Lifeboat Foundation perpetuates, and the Jeffrey Epstein Foundation perpetuates, and the Rockefeller Foundation perpetuates. Singularity. With the on its right hand, the 666 system going up into enlightenment under the crescent, a part of the global Islamic system, and the left hand going down 666, which represents the kingdom of Satan on the earth. So the right hand, the atmosphere, the left hand on the earth, what we call time. So then Baphomet is the insignia of the global Luciferian deep state that Kobe Bryant was a part of, okay? So then the Knights Templar, its deity was Baphomet. Also concerning the Rothschilds, now in 1577, there was a man by the name of Isaac, capital Izak, Rothschild was born, and he created what we call the Red Shield and had the Star of Baphomet on the shield, which we call Rothschild or Rothschild. So Isaac Elkanan Rothschild, born in 1577, later became a spy. Excellent picture there, Jason. Later became a spy, and his real name was Isaac Bauer, capital Baurer. We're still having a mental paperclip there to Kobe Bryant, a Luciferian project created.
So what about Jack Bauer on that show about, he's some kind of super secret agent?
I thought about that a week ago. Nothing is by accident. Why would Fox, the Fox movie system, use that term Bauer? That could be another conversation for another day. Excellent pickup. So the Bauer family is using the code word Rothschild or Rothschild to establish a global financial empire. Now that term.
Wait a minute, Bishop. Look, the Jack Bauer show is called 24, Kobe Bryant's number.
Exactly, 24 letters in the Greek alphabet. See, nothing is by accident. 2 times 4 equals 8. Kobe Bryant's first jersey. Now 24. 24 letters of the Greek alphabet. Jack Bauer, okay? So then, this is interesting. Jack Bauer, okay? Or the acronym for Jack is John, like Jack Kennedy, or absolutely. So then, this Isaac Rothschild, excellent pickup, Jason. He was a spy for the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II. Okay, we're talking about in the early 1600s. So this Isaac Rothschild specialized in credit ratings. I'm going to come up to Dun and Bradstreet, Jeffrey Stible, in about 10 minutes. This is heavy here. So Isaac Rothschild specialized in credit ratings for the Holy Emperor Rudolph II. And also Isaac Rothschild was a financial spy within the Bohemian dynasty, which later becomes the Bohemian Grove. Okay, another topic for another day. Also, Isaac Rothschild was a part of the financial system of the House of Habsburg in the early 1600s. So from Isaac Rothschild, also, we go to 1743. to Mayor Amschel Rothschild, and we're still talking about Kobe Bryant, a Luciferian project created. Mayor Rothschild Bauer, he was the son of Moses Amschel Bauer, who was also a credit rater or a credit rating specialist in Frankfurt, Germany. So then, this Moses Amschel Rothschild gave birth to Mayor Amschel Rothschild. Mayor Amschel Rothschild was a money lender and a credit rater. Okay, in other words, he was his own credit rating system. Okay, he was his own Federal Reserve System. He was the one that created it. Rothschild Red Shield had a six-pointed star, just like on the forehead of Baphomet, that geometrically, Jason, represents a 666 hexagram star. Okay, 2 centuries later becomes the logo for the State of Israel's flag. The Rothschilds were responsible for that. So the Star of David is not the Rothschild dynasty or the 6-pointed hexagram star. The Star of David is the Lord Jesus Christ. Another topic for another day. So then, this Mayor Rothschild would marry a young woman by the name of Gertel Schnapper. Let me spell her name. Capital G-U-T-E-L-E, and Schnapper, capital S-C-H-N-A-P-E-R, which her family later changed to Snapple. Like Snapple.
Oh, the drink?
Yes. Capital S-N-A-P-P-L-E. So that Snapper was changed to Snapple. Interesting. So Kobe Bryant, a Luciferian project created. So Mayor Amschel Rothschild in 1770 draws out the global plan to create an Illuminati. That 6 years later, he chooses now, Adam Weishaupt. Now, we talked about Adam Weishaupt on last week. Adam Weishaupt and Eliphas Levi, the creator of the Baphomet system. So Rothschild chose these 2 men, Levi and Adam Weishaupt, to begin the Bavarian section of what we call Illumination, Illuminati, the light on the top of the head of Baphomet. Now, it's interesting here that Adam Weishaupt was a lover of Egyptian and Greek Sphinx, which we call the boule. So Adam Weishaupt and all of the Rothschild men often kept what they call miniature Greek Sphinx or boules in their office. I'm going to come to that in a minute. So then, the Black Skulls and Bones, the boule, okay, where knowledgeisking.ning.com, knowledgeisking.ning.com, the Black Skulls and Bones, okay. So the boule is a griffin, is a gargoyle, where the Rothschilds will have them in their home as a miniature statue to protect the home from spirits. Now the same boules are being used by the same system. Boy, it gets heavy here. So then, now the 5 sons of the Rothschilds, and somebody said, what does the 5 sons of the Rothschilds, Bishop, have anything to do with Kobe Bryant? It all interconnects generationally to those who were chosen by the system. Now, remember back in June, Jason, I made mention of a political scientist by the name of Dr. Andrew Hackard. Mm-hmm. And he wrote a book called 2 Nations, Black and White, Separate, Hostile, Unequal. He said in that book, we have a Black middle class, but it only exists at the sufferance of white America. And he goes on to say that the system decides how many of you would be allowed into which positions. And how many of you is too many? And we pick Cosby, we pick Powell.
He says this?
Yes, we do that. And we are very careful about the numbers, end quote. So the Luciferian system chooses an Oprah Winfrey, a Kobe Bryant, a LeBron James, okay, an Alicia Keys, a Beyonce. They choose these men and women to protect the system, or what we call the crab barrel system.
Right.
Now, remember on that logo that you show concerning the coat of arms of the Rothschilds, where it says in Latin, unity, integrity, industry. That's what it means. Unity, integrity, and industry. So the boules are chosen to be unified to the system. The boules are chosen to have integrity to the system. And the boules are chosen to be a part of the sports and entertainment and political and military industry of not just America, but of the world. Okay. Now it means unity, concordia. It means integritas, which means integrity, and industria, which means industry. So through unity, integrity, and industry, will the global Luciferian state enslave not just the boules, but the system of the 99%. So then the 1% chooses certain black people, certain boules to protect the system. Now remember the five sons of Mayor Rothschild. Okay, the five sons were called the five pentagrams. And we're talking about here Solomon Mayer Rothschild, Nathan Mayer, Kalaman Mayer, and Jacob Mayer. Amschel Mayer Jr. would be over Frankfurt, Germany. Solomon Mayer would be over Vienna, Austria. Nathan Mayer would be over the London, England banking arm of the Rothschilds. Kalaman Mayer would be over Naples, Italy. And Jacob, the youngest son, would be over Paris, France. Now, if you connect all of the cities together in those countries, it reveals an acronym of a pentagram, not so much of a pentagram or a pentagon. It represents the acronym of darkness that the system, and this is heavy, would be over not just the boule, but the entire world. But the five sons on the logo or the coat of arms, some of the coat of arms of the Rothschilds has five arrows, Jason, that represents the five sons of the five pentagrams of the Rothschild financial dynasty, right?
Bishop, I found this very good diagram that talks about some of the symbols, the Star of David in the upper left,
Look at
the
that.
eagle symbol of John the Evangelist, the fleur de lis symbol of the Virgin Mary, Trinity, more or less, I guess, symbol of the Apostle Barnabas,
Yes.
unity, integrity, and industry. The arrows are symbols of the Greek god Artemis, who is the equivalent of one of the Marvs from the Bible, and then the symbol of the three Marys from the Bible. I mean, this is talking about stuff that I know nothing about.
See what it is, Jason. And again, that's a great picture. Let's go through this. See what the Rothschild system does. And that's not the real name. The real name is Bauer. But the dark code name of the Bowers is Rothschild or Rothschild, that six-pointed hexagram. So all of they use Christian symbols, okay, as a tool of manipulation. No, Christianity is not manipulation, but what the system of darkness does, Jason, through deception, they use Christian symbols to suck in people into the system, just like the Masonic order. They use the Bible, they use Christian spiritual symbols, what we call symbologies, to bring humanity in And once we have you in, then we're going to expose to you the counterfeit Apostle Barnabas, the counterfeit Star of David, right? The counterfeit eagle symbol of John the Evangelist. So then, what they do at the top of this symbol, okay, it has the same Nazi symbol of a black eagle
Yeah.
that's in the SS. So
Right.
what's happening here? It's all intermixed. Light muse cage, dark muse cage. So lightness and darkness symbols are intertwined. So to understand and to decipher this symbol, we have to remove one piece at a time, Jason. That's a powerful symbol there.
What's
So
this thing in the center, Bishop? There are some symbols that little diagram didn't address.
no, you're talking about the one in the red, absolutely. And if
It's like an orange juice maker.
yes, well, it means processing. Yeah, no, it means processing. Okay, that's also called a mitre, M-I-T-R-E, a hat, or what we call the hood, and that's a acronym here in the United States, the hood. Okay, and so it means consciousness. So then, this system would integrate every ethnicity into their sophisticated dark order. Let me tell you something, Jason, this system is so sophisticated. It was way over the head of Kobe Bryant. And what we saw at the memorial yesterday was a Luciferian memorial. I'm going to get to that later on here during the show. Excellent picture there. So the Boules have 5,000 members. 126 chapters. Look at that number 1, then the number 26. January 1, 26. Kobe Bryant.
Whoa.
5,000 members throughout the United States, throughout the Caribbean, and throughout the UK. Now, the Caribbean islands has 26 countries. So 5,000 here, and this is interesting, divided by 28 equals around 178. So there's around between 178 and 180 boules per country that would constitute the 1% of the black diaspora in the United States, in the Caribbean, and throughout the UK. That the 99% would be subservient to the 1% of the black diaspora, or the talented tenth, that 1 out of 10 every African Americans would be chosen to constitute a black 1%. Now, remember the skulls and bones that we talked about, and keep a mental paperclip there concerning the Black Boule Secret Society and Kobe Bryant. So the skulls and bones here, now you notice on the insignia concerning the skulls and bones, it has a skull, 2 bones, and a cross. When people are buried, sometimes they are buried with their hands in a cross. Now, many times you go to a Masonic funeral, the pallbearers would lift the coffin on their shoulders. Jason, that's a Masonic Luciferic type of funeral. But we wasn't privy to see that as far as Kobe Bryant, because his body and his daughter's body was buried on the 7th of February. So in this skulls and bones insignia, it has a number 322. Now, that represents 322 BC, before the Common Era. And those of you gematria students or numerology students of timology, the Boule Secret Society will be 117 years old. That number 17 you and I talked about last week. A number of spirit in order. Keep your finger there concerning skulls and bones. But the Boule Secret Society will be 117 years old this coming May the 4th, 2020. Ooh. Now, what people do, Jason, many people who are practitioners of gematria, they don't count the first month of May, they count the second month, which ends up being 116. There's a distinction between Jewish timology versus Gentile. Gentiles, what we teach, we don't count the first day of the first month. We count that second day of the second month. Jews always count that first day of the first month. So to ascertain how old the boules are, they are 117. We must count not the following month of June of 1904, but that first month of May 4th, 1904, which would be 117 years. That represents Jewish timology. Okay.
I've never
Now,
heard of timology before, Bishop. The other thing is, people are asking about the skull of Geronimo, something that the weirdos at the Yale Skull and Bones Club are alleged to have stolen. In fact, I think even the family of Geronimo won a civil lawsuit that determined that they did steal it and they have to give it back or something.
yeah, so that type of skull, Geronimo, that was stolen by the Skulls and Bones. And again, Jason, not to be redundant, you have the best listeners, man, and the most intelligent and educated listeners I've ever been a part of, as far as a radio show or podcasting. Big time shout out to your listeners who are very detailed. So that Geronimo skull that was stolen by the Skulls and Bones, that's rooted in Indian mythology. Now, Indians, when we study the indigenous mythologies of Indians, maybe we got to do a show on Indian mythology. They were worshipers of science, and we talk about Scientology, right? They were the Dianetic people. They worshiped the stars. They worshiped the atmosphere. And by the way, another topic for another day, when we talk about universe, there was a Jewish gematria scholar by the name of Nachmanides, okay, who said that the universe was created in 10 dimensions. We have 10 fingers and 10 toes. In Genesis chapter 1, 10 times in the King James Version does it say, and God said, and God said. Take the word and spell it right to left, rabbinically, you get the word DNA. So the universe was created in 10 dimensions, okay? So the Skulls and Bones know gematria. They know Indian mythology, okay? And they know the Indian insights when it comes to spirituality. Excellent find by your listeners, Jason. So that number 322 BC, and I was wondering, what does that mean? And we got to do a show on Indian mythology one day, Jason. So that term 322 represents 322 BCE, before the Common Era. Yeah. Okay. It represents a Greek orator by the name of Demosthenes, capital Demosthenes, who was a practitioner, or what we call plutocracy. He believed in the black nobility of Greece. In other words, the Skulls and Bones chose that date, 322 BCE, concerning the Greek orator Demosthenes, who taught that the Greek Empire must be changed from a democratic system to a plutocratic system of plutocracy, what we call the black nobility. Now, today, the boules are called the black nobility. And so this Greek orator, Demosthenes, was a worshiper of the Sphinx, boule, or griffin. Okay?
Right.
So
which it appears in their, that's that little logo for Beta Phi. What's the fraternity of the boules?
Yes, you're talking about boule. You're talking about Omega Psi Phi. You know, you talking about
Sigma Pi Phi. Sorry.
Yeah, Sigma Pi Phi. And what I'm looking at right now, and Jason, go back to that montage of pictures real quick that you just had showing in Google Images. If you can go back to that, I saw something there you go. Up into the left-hand corner, you see a Sphinx there, right there. If you can click on that, you see
that's the Sigma Pi Phi.
That's the Sigma Pi Phi. But it's originated out of Greek mythology with the Sphinx half male, half female with the breast, has his left hand on a skull that you see on Google Images, the upper left-hand corner.
Oh,
It
this
has,
one. Yeah.
yeah, there you go. It has his left hand on a skull. That is the statute that many of the Rothschild dynasties used to have in their homes to protect their home from spirits. So that's where W.E.B. Du Bois, Dr. Henry McKee Minton, in the 9 Black Scholars of the Boule Secret Society, got this symbol from. This symbol has its left paw on a skull. The Boule logo today has its right hand on an urn. You are in which they keep ashes of dead people.
Right.
So that comes from the skull or from the consciousness of a people who don't know who they are. Oh, man, excellent pictures there, Jason. So the 9 founding fathers of the Black Boule Secret Society were also practitioners and lovers of Demosthenes, that Greek orator who taught not only plutocracy concerning the Black nobility, but also Demosthenes was a worshiper of the dark arts, 322 BCE. So then the 9 Black Greek letter secret society fathers created the Pan-Hellenic Council of 9 Greek Black letter secret societies that would protect the Knights of the Round Table of the 9, the Rothschilds, okay, the Oppenheimers, the Warburgs. So the Boules created in 1904. Now in 2020, my friend, they would be 117 years old. Now it gets heavy now. 1904 plus 2020 equals 3,924 for your gematria students. Now we go back 3,924 years. That is 1924 BC. 1924 BC was the creation of what we call the spoke wheels, capital WHWELS. Well, the spoke wheels is on the Boule logo on the urn. That's the spoke wheels, man. This is heavy. So 1904 was the creation of the Boule. They would be 117 years old this coming May 2020. 1904 plus 2020 gematria students is 3,924 years, going back to 1924 BCE, the creation of the spoke wheels. There were wheels, but not the spoke wheels, like you see. There you go, right there, Jason. So everything is designed according to numbers. Okay, according to numbers. Okay. One of the great gematria teachers I love is Zachary Hubbard. Great teacher when it comes to gematria. And to all of our students here, now notice this. So 1904 plus 2020, 3924, going back 3,924 years to 1924 BC was the creation of the spoke wheel that's on the urn, the Boule Secret Society. You can see that on page 77 of the book Introduction to Biblical Chronology, from Adam to the Resurrection of Christ. Okay.
But what significance does that spoked wheel have on the urn, Bishop?
That is an excellent question. In the significance of the spoke wheel on the urn, you notice it has 30 sections, okay, of that spoke wheel with the all-seeing eye in the middle. That wheel, that spoke wheel, represents the layers of protection that the Boule gives to the all-seeing eye, which is the system that they are protecting. Okay, so they are protecting, okay, the eye. So it's the layers of the NAACP, of the Urban League, of the Nation of Islam, of Black churches who are protecting the system. And by the way, the NAACP, as a side note, was not created by Black people. And let me say this again. The NAACP was, and keep that logo right there, because I'm going to come back to that, Jason.
Sure.
Excellent picture. So the NAACP was founded by a man by the name of Henry Moskowitz,
Mm-hmm.
along with the Spingarn brothers. Okay. So Zionists created the NAACP. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just revealing that the NAACP, SNCC, when I call SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the Urban League, okay? And I'm going to expose to you, my friend, another secret society of Black females called the Jack and Jill Foundation, which was created in 1938 with Rockefeller Foundation money. So the NAACP, SNCC, okay, CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality, all of these Black organizations are controlled by Zionists, okay? So then, getting back to the Boule Secret Society, notice on that Boule logo, excellent, it has cornrows on the top of the head of the
Oh,
Sphinx.
wow.
Cornrows. Then the
Yeah.
Bible talks about in Job 41, verse 7. Look at the number 41. Kobe was 41. So
Whoa.
in Job 41, verse 7, God forbids us to wear what we call the cornrow, or what the Bible says, fish spears. So cornrows goes back to the Babylonian Empire during the time of Nebuchadnezzar, who has a gematria term in Hebrew as 666. So then the Babylonian children, their hair was constructed in the form of their house gods or deities or griffins. So people, especially in Black America, who are getting cornrows, that's rooted in Babylonian mysticism. That's rooted in witchcraft, okay? So the cornrows. Now remember, if everyone can look online here, concerning the former NBA basketball player, Dwayne Wade. So if you type in, Dwayne Wade says that he grew up a little ignorant of LGBTQ communities. Dwayne Wade says that he grew up a little ignorant of LGBTQ communities. And you'll find that on businessinsider.com. There you go. And
He's
if you,
hilarious on Dave Chappelle.
yes, can you expand that and bring the hair of Dwayne Wade closer
Oh,
so
yeah,
that
look at that.
you notice that? But you notice the pyramids
Spiral.
of the pyramid. So then, that is one of the symbols, Jason, that was declassified by
Right.
the FBI as being a pedophilia symbol. Now, I'm not accusing Dwayne Wade of being a pedophilia, but why would he choose? And you can see this on filewikileaks.org, file.wiki. There you go. See that? The first one, the upper left. There you go. Why would Dwayne Wade have his hair not just in cornrows, that's rooted back in Babylonian mysticism? That symbol represents B logo, aka boy lover. Wait a minute now. No, so he was on the Ellen DeGenerate show, stating that his son.
But then he's hanging out here with a little boy.
Yes, that's his son.
Oh.
Who wants to be a girl? Why?
What?
Because Dwayne Wade has been buck broken. You see? Dwayne Wade was at the Kobe Bryant's memorial. All of those stars are buck broken. And you see the symbols in the form of braids on the head of Dwayne Wade. That's one of the symbols of the declassified symbols of the FBI.
I mean, I can't think of a more, this image is like the essence of buck breaking, that we've got a powerful and successful Black man embracing the next generation and happy that he wants to be a girl. That's so contradictory to what I understand of Black culture in America that I don't know what to say.
See, you hit an excellent point, Jason. The system wants to emasculate the Black male. If the black male can be emasculated, then the system can emasculate the black woman. Remember, you going back thousands of years, my friend.
So that's a form of transgenderism right there.
Yes, it's a form of transgenderism. Remember, Napoleon went into Egypt and saw spanks of men of large noses and large lips. He blew off the noses and blew off the lips. Why? Because Napoleon not just hated anything that was black, and I'm not teaching black and white, but this is a Napoleonic spirit that's in Black America. Getting a nose change, nose job, lip job, okay? Beyonce, Michael Jackson. They hate themselves, Jason, because they don't know who they are. Napoleon's troops shoot off the nose of the Sphinx. Why? They didn't like the texture of the black look of the Sphinx. This is happening today in Hollywood.
Well, here's a story that says that that's incorrect. How can we verify if Napoleon did that or not?
Napoleon did that. There are multiple sites put out by true Egyptologists like the late Dr. Ben Yakadin all throughout the internet. And this is the deep state, okay? They're saying, well, the noses came off themselves. That's garbage. And I'm glad that you pointed out, Jason. So that's garbage. So then, see, the system doesn't want to take responsibility. Napoleon, who was also a high 33rd and 1/2 grade Mason, and a couple of weeks ago, you showed, excellent picture there, the Sphinx, the right hand of a Napoleon in his jacket pocket. So the noses are blown off. The lips are blown off. That is black self-hate, okay? That's self-hate. Do you know, Jason, that last year, black spending power was almost $3 trillion here in the United States?
Wow, sounds like a lot.
That's it. Half of Nike sales, Nike, is from the psyop of a people who don't love who they are. So they go out and buy a $300, $400, $500 pair of Air Jordans. Why? Because Nike is, oh Lord, I got this is powerful. Nike is exploiting the low self-esteem and the self-hatred of black people. So if you don't get a pair of Air Jordans, then you don't have any self-worth. So they're
and Bishop, remember when Air Jordans were new? Like when I was in high school, Air Jordans were absolutely the craziest, $100 sneakers. Nobody ever heard of anything like that before. People were killing each other in line at the mall to purchase the sneakers.
My friend, again, you hit another nerve with me. Michael Jordan is a boule. He was at the what I call the sacrificial memorial yesterday. Michael Jordan, whose father was taken on by the system. You see, they don't care who you are, how much money you make. So then when you talk about the boule, I know it's a system of self-hate. Black people don't love who they are. They know what they are, but they don't know who they are. Now, remember that boule logo or that half woman, half man? Again, people would rather spend $400 or $500 on a pair of tennis shoes, okay? I'm going to come back to that later on. But the boule logo is a half male, half female, half lion. Now, remember, it's the boule logo, not the original one with its left hand on the skull, but the one of today with its right paw. There you go. Now, it's showing only its left eye. Let me say this again. It's showing its left eye.
What about Lisa Left Eye Lopez?
There you go. Lisa Left Eye Lopez. She was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
But why is she Left Eye Lopez? I always thought maybe she had only one eye. I don't really know what was up with her.
Right, that's just an R&B moniker, absolutely. And I believe she was taken out. That's another topic for another day. So
like a Jeep crash or something, right?
Yes. Very, very suspicious. And maybe one day we can bring up her as well. So she died on April 25th here, 2002. April 25th, 2002. Now, you gematria students, 4 plus what? 25 plus 2 plus 2 equals 33. 33 degrees, and within the Masonic order, no black person can attain a 33rd and 1/2. Okay. Now you see Quincy Jones and Oprah Winfrey. We're going to get to Quincy Jones, like we did last week, that his daughter Khadida was in the car with Tupac when they took out Tupac. I'm going to come to that in about 10 minutes.
Wow,
So
Bishop, we might be pushing into part 4 here. We're hour and 40 minutes. I don't mean to cut you short, but perhaps we should break into another part.
Absolutely. Well, that's definitely, and we can do that right now. Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't want to cut you off unceremoniously. Let's find a nice spot to wrap it up, and we'll continue next week.
We will continue next week, and if you can give me 5 minutes, Jason,
sure.
and I'll be done. So then, that Black Boule Secret Society, they were the ones that neutralized Marcus Garvey, and definitely we talked about him several weeks ago. Now, that term, Griffin, okay, cornucopia, the two-horn system. This is where we get the term Peter Pan, right? Cornucopia, right? Two-horn system, Pan-Hellenic. And Black people stop using the word "I am a Pan-Africanist." That term.
What do they even mean when they say that? Pan-African.
They're teaching that the term Pan means global, but that's not what it means. The term Pan in Greek Hellenistical theology, it means cornucopia, a two-horn system. Okay, it represents a two-horn system of light and darkness. Okay, so people have to stop using that term Pan-African or Pan-African centricity, and then that term boule, cornucopia. This is where we get the term satyr, capital S-A-T-Y-R, which means Satan, Pan, two horns, goat riding. And one more thing, and I'm done, Jason. Now, remember the term Philadelphia, okay? Secret Society, Jack and Jill, okay?
Right.
So then we get the term Phil, okay? And that's interesting. That was the name of Coach Phil Jackson concerning Kobe Bryant. Then we get the word Adelphia. It means brotherhood.
Yeah, the city of brotherly love, we've always heard.
So if you remove the letter A, then you get the word Delphia, which means to be feminized. The feminization of the word Adelphia or Delphi. Singularity, duality, male and female, Baphomet, Boule, transgender agenda. So we're going to keep it there today, Jason. So one thing I'm telling you, maybe we're going to do a part 4 next week, but I'm getting hundreds of emails coming in from people. They're saying, Bishop, please don't let this be the last concerning on Kobe Bryant. And we're going to get into Pamela Mackey next week. She was chosen by Harvey Weinstein. And we're also going to get into Humpty Dumpty. And there was a Humpty Dumpty magazine that came out in the same year that Jack and Jill was created. The Curtis Publication Company Corporation out of Philadelphia created the Jack and Jill Foundation, a Black female Boule Secret Society, created by 20 women who were the wives of the Boule, and we're going to keep it there today. This has been, this was heavy stuff here today. This is powerful information concerning Kobe Bryant, a Luciferian project created.
Absolutely. This Jack and Jill Foundation, it's interesting that we got Jack and Jill and Humpty Dumpty, all these kind of nursery rhymes. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Bishop, people in our comments are asking if we'll do a show about Bill Cosby. I think that would be great. People like the idea of hearing about Lisa Left Eye Lopez. And there was a message as well from John Doe via Super Chat. Thank you for that, John Doe. Apparently a fellow Chicagoan loves the insight that you're bringing, Bishop, and keep up the great reporting. So thank you for that, John Doe.
Can I say one more thing? And please forgive me for going over it. Another pedophilia symbol. Now, this is not nowhere on the internet where this symbol is saying it's a pedophilia symbol. So I want to preface that. Since that that listener from Chicago, he hit a nerve with me. Now, the NBA team in Chicago, the Chicago Bulls, if you look at the logo of Chicago Bulls and then turn it upside down, okay, it is a pedophilia symbol, okay?
How is that?
Okay, if you turn, matter of fact, if you can turn, if you find a photo of that Chicago Bulls logo, having it turned upside down, inverted, okay, that now a lot of scholars would say that represents a man reading a book or a Bible. No, that's hogwash. So then, the Chicago Bulls symbol or a bull turned upside down, inverted, that represents one of the pedophilia logos or insignias. I'm going to bring that up more in detail next week because, see, the truth, Jason, is inside of these logos, the truth, okay? Now, I'm looking at a upside down logo of the term, the Bulls logo upside down. It says, get a robot reading a book. Turn the Bulls logo upside down, get a robot reading a book. Now, if you look at it very closely, and that's, I believe that is on sbnation.com, sbnation.com, or type in, turn the Bulls logo upside down, get a robot reading a book. Now, if you expand that and look at it more closely, it is a pedophilia symbol, okay? It is a pedophilia symbol that of the forehead of the bull upside down, it looks like, excuse the expression, an anal, okay? And so you're not going to find this anywhere that it says that an upside down Chicago Bulls logo represents pedophilia. I want to preface that. But I believe what God has shown me, when you look at this closely, it represents, okay, a pedophilia symbol. So I'm going to bring out more symbols in the weeks to come, okay? So all these, it's wicked, man. And so I just want to wrap it up there concerning Kobe Bryant, a Luciferian project created. So excellent show today.
Yeah, absolutely, Bishop. And I apologize. I went down a track of actually trying to rotate the logo upside down myself, and every single maneuver I've been making to do that has been delayed by some sort of error. But here we go. We've got the logo turned upside down. And
Yes.
it does look like a little robot. Here's
Yes.
his eyes. He's reading a
Yes.
book. The book is open. Now, what's pedophilia about this? Something here?
And then I'm not trying to look for anything, and nowhere it shows this on the internet. I want to preface that, but also it's a perfect representation of buck breaking. I don't want to get too explicit.
Yes, I see what you're saying. It looks like the robot is doing something to someone.
Yeah, spreading. And so, again, not to be extreme to our listeners, because I'm a historian, I believe in facts and figures and links. You and I are on that same level, Jason. So, but sometimes God will show us something that is demonic, that it may not be on the internet per se by word, but it represents pedophilia. And that can be connected to a lot of the FBI classified symbols. Remember Dwayne Wade's braids, right?
Right.
Why would he get a braid creation in the form of one of the pedophile symbols? Okay, that's part of the dark arts here. Powerful show today.
Absolutely, Bishop. You know, everybody's very excited about your show. You've been really opening up a whole new area that I think a lot of Crowdsource the Truth viewers may be entirely aware of before. So I have to thank you, Bishop. This is one of the most exciting shows that we've got, and certainly the most popular news show on Crowdsource the Truth. People can also hear you, Bishop, on liferadionj.com/Gaiters. People can go over there and listen to your radio show on Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m., and they can also hear you on iHeart radio, and people can support your global spiritual revolution by going to paypal.me/GSRR Media Group. They can also sponsor this show. And I do ask people, if you're watching and enjoying the show every week, I know it's free here on YouTube, but obviously that cannot be sustained. There are no ads on the show, and frankly, YouTube probably doesn't want this information on there. So it's really important that people become sponsors of not only Crowdsource the Truth, but the Bishop's Global Spiritual Revolution. Bishop, we'll see you next Tuesday. I think people are going to be, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. That's a bit of a, in Hollywood, that's how you kick somebody off the set. You tell them, see you next Tuesday, but we'll leave that for another discussion. We'll be back next week, Bishop. I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate all of our listeners. Have a great day, everybody. We'll be back tonight at 8 p.m. with the sponsor exclusive show, More Pain with Mike Moore from True Pundit. Don't miss that on Patreon and Subscribestar. And Bishop, we'll see you next week.
We will see you next week, friend, for part 4 of Kobe Bryant, a Luciferian project created.
There you go. Thanks, Bishop. Take care.